First of all, am I good to get started, Paige, or do you want to go ahead?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so my name is Lindsay Cox. I am what's called a district city manager with Sherwin-Williams. Just a little brief intro on me. I've been in this role for about 3 years, and what that means to you is I run all of the stores for Sherwin-Williams from downtown Charleston, where you're located, all the way down to Jacksonville, Florida. So I've got a team of 24 managers, 24 assistant managers, and in total about 200 employees. So I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of responsibility, but it keeps me on my toes. So there's never a dull moment. So brief intro on how I found Sherwin-Williams, like yourself. I was in college. I was actually a sociology major. I graduated from Gardner-Webb University. Not sure if you know where that is, but it's right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. I graduated in 2008. So this was my first job outside of college. I started part-time. I went to grad school thinking that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to pursue sociology and psychology. I quickly learned that I loved doing what I was doing. Sherwin-Williams as a company really wowed me with the longevity of a career versus just having a job. So within, I think it was right at 6 months, I applied for the management training program, which is what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today. And over the years, I've moved from Charlotte, North Carolina, through Asheville, North Carolina, down to the Hilton Head, Bluffton, South Carolina area, and up to Charleston. So I have been a Charleston resident now for 6 years. And I absolutely love it here. This is where I met my soon-to-be husband. So Charleston will always have a very special place in my heart. So I hope you guys find the same, even if you graduate. I'm sure Charleston will always have a special place in your heart if you end up having to relocate. So a couple of things that I want to talk to you about today is, number one, I mentioned the management training program. That is for the rising juniors and seniors. So I will take a poll in a few moments on who is who that I'm talking to. That way I can get an understanding of how better to dive into either our internship program for you or our management training program. So I will start there. Who do I have on the call? Do I have, let's see, Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
So what year are you?
I'm a junior right now. I'm a first semester junior.
First semester junior. And what are you interested in, I guess, gaining out of this presentation?
Well, I would just really want to go into sales and maybe want to be a sales rep for some company. And I heard about this. My buddy did an internship 1 or 2 years ago at Sherwin-Williams, and he just told me about the great sales programs y'all have. And I thought that'd be a great place to start.
Good. So, and that is exactly where you need to start. So internship for sure. Knowing that, so next year obviously is your senior year. So that junior summer is really critical to get an internship in, see what you really want to do. Now, what is your major?
Business administration.
Okay. Well, you're in the right spot here. All right.
Yes, ma'am. We can chat.
So what about, let's see, Rhett, Linder, and thank you, Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
What about Rhett down here?
I'm a finance major. I'm a sophomore here.
Okay.
I'm just interested in managing money. I want to get that aspect of business. And I'm just here to see what Sherwin-Williams entails. I'm looking for an internship this summer. So I've just been looking around a little bit here and there.
Now, for both of you guys, and this will be a question I ask everyone else, is, are you guys going to be local in Charleston for the summer?
I'm going to be, if I get an internship, it'll be wherever I get that, either Columbia, Charleston, or maybe Greenville area.
Yes, ma'am. I'm the same way. I'm very flexible on the location of the internship.
Okay. Just so I can get a feel for the who's and what's, because the main reason why I ask is I know realistically that all of you probably aren't from Charleston, and I want to give you a real world view of what that may look like if you are interested in an internship, because we offer them in most major cities. So Columbia is one of them, Greensboro is one of them, Charlotte, Atlanta. So just so you would know that that's something that would be applicable to you, even if you went home for the summer.
Okay.
Now, who else do I have on the call? Let me scroll down here. What about John Cook?
Yes, ma'am.
What year are you and what's your major?
I'm a first semester junior, and my major is supply chain management. So I'm here just trying to, the more I study in my major, I find every single industry has somebody that they need for supply chain management, logistics, distribution, stuff like that. So I'm just here. I'm looking at different types of industries and just curious to see what Sherwin-Williams has. So that's why.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Thank you for sharing as well. And what about you, Cooper?
I'm a first semester sophomore, and I'm a physical education major.
Okay.
And I really just wanted to go to a couple different listings on the virtual career fair and just kind of gain some knowledge about some jobs and just grow my knowledge for a class I'm taking right now.
Sounds good to me. I think we'll be able to cover that today as well. I think that's all that I can see. Paige, can you see anybody else that I might have missed? Just to make sure I'm not missing anybody.
Oops, sorry, I was muted. Yes, that was it. You covered
Okay.
everybody. Sorry.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so now that I know kind of what our audience is and what we need to talk about, I'm going to now start with the internship. So this first slide, of course, is a way to launch your career with Sherwin-Williams. Again, you know, for someone who was finding Sherwin-Williams from Career Builder and, you know, fell in love with it and decided to pursue a career, I will tell you is the way to view it is the internship is just a toe dip into the company. I will tell you a little bit about the company's history in a few moments, but I'm going to dive into these just while they're fresh as our topic. So we have what are called the management and sales training programs. So the first step is your internship. The internship is not listed on here for some reason. Let me see if I can find it. 1 second, guys, sorry. Well, I'm going to tell you about it because it's not on here. So the internship is a program that lasts from June to August. It's an 8-week program. We do it every single summer. Like I mentioned, it's available in every major city. So it gives you a toe dip into what Sherwin-Williams is as a company. So it is the same responsibilities as the management training program in front of you to learn to operate and manage a Sherwin-Williams paint store. So for those that are finance majors, I know that you mentioned that I have a finance major on here. We teach you a lot of the behind the scenes of the whys behind the what on how to really run a company. Sherwin-Williams is a corporation. However, we allow you to run a company as an autonomous business owner. So Sherwin-Williams, they give you a budget. We give you the money to run it, but we let you run your own store as you would if it's your own. So if you want to spend money on inventory or you want to, invest in a certain sales program, we allow you to do that. So it's a very unique type of corporation where you get a lot more autonomy than you really would as if you just had a specific structure. So it's unique. So we teach you how to do that. So the training starts just as this is the management and sales training program in front of you, where you see the weeks 1 through 6, except for your internship, this is very consolidated. So from June to August, you work a part-time job. It's 28 hours a week. First, we start exactly this, though. It's hands-on training in the store. The second part is an assistant store manager assignment where you shadow another assistant manager, because that is actually your first placement with us. If you decide to do an internship or a management training program, your first placement will be an assistant manager. So we teach you what that's like firsthand, to show you what that would be like when you get the job. Next is you go to what's called Sherwin-Williams University. So as if you haven't had enough college, you get to go to Sherwin-Williams University. So what that means, it's not as intense as it sounds. What that means is that you go through a series of testing, and that just helps you understand the corporate policy. So our ethics, our principles. Oh, sorry, I messed something up here. Someone's waiting in our waiting room.
Oh, there we go. I see.
Are we good?
I got in.
Okay.
We got in.
Okay, thank you. I'm new to Zoom, by the
Yeah.
way, so thank you for bearing with me.
Yeah.
Hi, Evan. Okay, so let's get back to that. So Sherwin-Williams University. So their basic tests, they're not very hard, but it just shows you what you're getting into as far as the company. So what we stand for, our ethics and our guiding principles, because we want you to understand that we're not just a company that sells paint. We have a lot of guiding principles to have been around for 156 years. So little tip for you guys is we have officially been around as the Sherwin-Williams company for 156 years. I don't know if you know a lot about business, but I will tell you 156 years is a very long time to be around as a company. So we must have figured out something right. So, or a thing or two, I guess. So you learn all of those things. Again, you're going to dive in a lot more into the history, but you'll also find out exactly who we have acquired over the years. We acquired 2 years ago. They're called the Valspar Company. Again, a little bit of info on the company itself. That was our biggest acquisition to date. Again, out of 156 years, we just had our largest acquisition 2 years ago. So as a company, we've been going through a lot of changes in a good way. So you actually get a little bit of internal working knowledge on how that acquisition went as well, and what that looks like from the corporate level to acquire another company almost the same size as you. So you gain a lot more than just learning how to mix paint. So aside from that, the new assistant store manager training at the division office, that's not something that you do as an intern. However, that's the only difference. As an intern, you present at the end of your 8 weeks, you present to a panel of people like myself, and you have what's called a class project. And your class project is a topic. So we give you 3 choices and you pick whichever one you want to work on with your teammates. There will be 3 interns in total. And you guys at the end of that 8 weeks present on your topic. And it's actually a corporate improvement project. So we give you 3 things that as a corporation, we're trying to develop on. And you come up with what you think would be a great idea on how we should go about doing that, and present your ideas to a panel of people like me. There are 8. And you have to come up with a PowerPoint and just obviously your type talking point. So it's something that you do get class credit for, of course, but the most important part that's not listed on here is that you get paid. So in different markets, typically pay is different if you're just going to apply for a part-time or full-time job. Through the internship program, it is $13.50 an hour, and it is a part-time job. So 28 hours a week. And that would be between working in the store at what we call a training store. And it would also be reporting into the district office. For like myself, for instance, you would come in and I would help you walk through your PowerPoint. I'd help you work on your presentation. We work on presentation skills. So a lot of transferable skills is the whole goal of the actual internship itself. Now, I know that a lot of you guys internship would be what you would be going to, but I want you to know what would be next. So our goal is to actually introduce you to Sherwin-Williams as a company. Again, the sales and management side of it is through our local internships, and then our management and sales training program once you have your 4-year degree. So the bachelor's degree, it is open to all majors. So I know we have physical education, we've got finance, we've got business. So we got a little bit of a mix today. I, again, was a sociology major, so you don't have to be a business major to go into Sherwin-Williams. It does help you as far as to have those skills, that basic knowledge from class, just to understand how business works. But that's something that we can teach you. So from the internship, obviously the management and sales training program is the next step. So that program is this. The phase 1 is the 6 weeks training. After that, it's the assistant store manager assignment, and then the Sherwin-Williams University. And then you go to your new assistant store training at our division office. So that is very similar, except for you actually get 6 to 8 weeks to complete it instead of 8 short weeks of part-time. So internship is very, very fast paced. Management and sales training program, the salary for that, different than part-time of $13.50. Management and sales training program is $45,000 a year. That comes with full benefits, a 6% 401k match,
Wow, that's awesome.
and a pension plan, which is very rare these days.
Yeah, wow.
Yes. So a couple of other things that I want to mention. Okay. So there is, I'm going down to the other options here for those that may be interested in something else. So logistics and supply chain. So our company isn't just sales. Obviously, what I am hiring for is sales. However, we have a lot of different departments in our company. So we've got on this slide, it shows the supply chain management, human resources, quality, engineering, finance, logistics. So you can start with the company in other fields other than sales. So I want to bring that to your attention that a lot of people think of Sherwin-Williams and they think of just paint and they think of sales. Well, in order for us to do what we do in the sales side, we need research and development, we need logistics, we need human resources. So if you're interested in something other than sales, I've got something for you as well. Now, the only difference is yes, you still have to have a bachelor's degree. However, they are based out of Atlanta or Cleveland. So if you would like to travel to a little cooler weather up to Cleveland, that is where our corporate headquarters is located. Is anybody from up north? Anybody? No? Well, maybe Cleveland might not be your desired location. Not mine, but some people love it. Also, there is an IT rotational development program as well. So again, to those that are interested in things other than sales, that does require a bachelor's degree, specifically in IT, engineering, hard sciences, or business program. And mainly that's just because we want you to have that experience before going into a program like that, specifically in IT. Again, research and development. Again, we need scientists and people to work on the paint that we end up selling. So that's also a program as well. Doesn't seem like anybody in here is into the sciences, but just as an FYI for you guys, we do hire people with a chemistry degree, chemical engineering, material science, and polymer engineering. So again, a little different side to Sherwin-Williams than just house paint. So before I go any further, because I'm going to dive into these sales development program slides a little bit, what do you guys want to know?
So the accelerated development program, that's the same kind of idea as the management and sales training program. It's just a whole different sector pretty much.
It is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and that's why I bring it up is because a lot of people, I think that they think of Sherwin-Williams, like I said, as house paint. You know, they don't know that there's a whole nother side to it.
Yes,
and we actually source everything internal. So we're what's called a vertically integrated company. And what that means is we make and manufacture our own paint here in the United States. And we also have our own fleet of vehicles that actually deliver that paint to our stores that we sell them through. Now with the Valspar integration, when we acquired them, we actually took over the distribution of Lowe's. So I know you guys all probably know what Lowe's is, right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I was whenever I heard Valspar, I thought that was a Lowe's company or something like that. So yes, ma'am.
That's why I bring that up is a lot of people don't understand how that works. So for us, for the first time by acquiring Valspar, we're now taking our products that we make and manufacture, and we're now distributing them to Lowe's to sell through Lowe's. However, we private labeled a bunch of products that they're selling through their stores. There's a handful of products that are only going to be available through your actual Sherwin-Williams brick and mortar locations. So we do have 4,300 stores in the United States, but those are only Sherwin-Williams brick and mortar locations.
Ma'am, I have a question on how COVID has affected and impacted the internship programs for the sales side of things.
Jonathan, that's a really good question because I've actually been talking to one of your fellow classmates. I think he graduates in May. He was supposed to do the internship with us last year, but I say last summer, before this school year, and we canceled the internship program due to COVID. Now we will be doing the internship in 2021 though. It will look a little bit different, obviously, to take some safety precautions. We're only going to have 2 interns. We're going to limit the amount of stores that you go to, limit the exposure, but you're still going to get the same experience, but we're just going to do it in a little bit safer of a way. If you ride along with the sales rep, we're going to have you ride in your car behind them, not in the car with them. When you're working in the store, we do require you to wear a mask. You have to be 6 feet apart. So we have taken some different precautions, but there's still going to be an internship in 2021. We just needed to figure out what that was going to look like.
That's good to hear. So many companies were in that same situation. And so I have a question in regard to that, because I had a recruiter give advice last week, which I thought was great advice. And it didn't even occur to me. And she recommended that if students had secured an internship this past summer, but were not able to do it, and it was a competitive internship or for fall, to note that somewhere on the resume, so that in a recruiting or interview process that they'd be able to at least talk about securing the internship and then losing it. I didn't know what your thoughts were on that, or what your recommendation would be.
I would, because, and I'm not sure, Paige, if you know who this young man is, but his name is Nick Pappas.
Oh, yes, I know Nick.
So I met Nick last year. I was recruiting at the Citadel, and I met him, and we interviewed him shortly after and got him all set up for the internship, and had to make the dreaded phone call of, you did great.
Yes, right.
You were awesome. But yeah, so I definitely would make sure to let everybody know that, you had a thorough interview, that you did get accepted for a position. Unfortunately, due to a pandemic, they weren't able to have the internship, but
yeah.
He's a candidate that, we're interested in for the management training program because of the interview that we had with him for the internship. So yes, please.
Very sales oriented. I could certainly see him doing well.
Yes.
With Sherwin.
I figure you knew who he was.
Yeah.
No, what do you guys want to know? Who else wants to know something that I haven't covered yet before I go any further? Evan?
Is in terms of the sales development program internship, is there a certain degree that you guys are looking for more than others?
I'd say that a business degree just helps you have a little bit of a leg up, and only because you have a little bit greater of an understanding of how business works, basic economics, you understand supply and demand, little things like that. They do help. But as a company, Sherwin-Williams, and I attest to that. I mean, I was a sociology major, so I didn't know anything about business. They taught me everything that I needed to know about running a business. So yes, it helps, but as long as you have the mindset of maybe you went into college and you didn't quite know what you wanted to do, I'd say most people at 21 and 22 probably don't know what they want to do. I was one of them. As long as you're okay with saying, hey, I picked this major, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, I learned a lot from it, and this is what I can bring to your program from what I learned. That is something that we're very open-minded with. So no matter what your does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Okay. Now, Evan, what's your major, Evan?
I'm a sports management major.
Okay. And what year are you?
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore, okay. So I'd say internship for everybody on this call is probably the thing that you're the most interested in right now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's talk internship then, all right? Let's dive in since we've got some time together to talk about it. So of what I've mentioned so far, what other questions about the internship do you have that I can answer?
So I'm specifically looking for finance, like that's my major, but I also want to have a broad background in just general business. And it sounds like the sales and management area is kind of a little broad, and you get kind of a lot of different aspects of business, which I like particularly. And that kind of suits well with my personality.
Mm-hmm.
So learning a little bit more about that, I think I'd be interested in, as far as an internship.
Yeah, and even though I will say this is obviously, like I mentioned before, is the individuals that we interview and extend offers to for the internship program are typically people that we'd like to see stay on with the organization from there on out, and whether it is in the sales side of things or whether it's in the finance side of things. And speaking to the finance side, that is one. Before I went too far, I just wanted to show you typically for finance majors, because I can kind of tweak this to you guys since there aren't very many on the call, we can make this how we want to make the call. The field audit program is something that is available for finance and accounting majors. So for you particularly, that would be, you would go through the internship program for the summer before your senior year. And then from there, you would then apply to what's called the field audit program. So instead of the sales and management training program, you would go into field audit to get that finance experience.
Okay.
Again, bachelor degree in accounting, finance. We do have a minimum GPA requirement for that. The reason is we actually are trusting these individuals to go in our stores and audit internally. So it's a big deal. We want these people to be extra sharp. We want them to be able to pay attention to details. We want to know that you can go into a location and carry yourself with confidence. So we're looking for a specific type of person in that. So,
Yes, ma'am.
but this gives you a little bit of info on it. So speaking to finance is 6 weeks of training, just like the management side of it, except for this one's in Cleveland, Ohio. So like I mentioned, if you're not from Cleveland, I would say check it out. It is an interesting town, but that is where our corporate headquarters is based. And everything other than our sales and management training program, that's where you will be sent for your training. So just know that.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
How competitive are the development programs? Because my biggest conflict is this summer coming up, since I'm a National Guard scholarship in the summer in between your junior and senior year. You have to go to training for a month and before you commission. And so my biggest issue is finding an internship that's within that time slot to try to still get one in before I have to go to that. But even if I wasn't even able to get an internship with Sherwin, like, how is it a prerequisite to like these development programs, or how does that work?
No. So that's a great question. So quite honestly, I know for you guys, it's a little difficult to work a part-time or a full-time job while you are at the Citadel. So that's something that I'm learning about your school, is that that would be quite difficult. So that's why we typically suggest an internship for you guys, because during the summer, you can have that 8 weeks where you would essentially be working like a part-time employee, but just more management focused. So I say that an internship is not required. It does just help you to understand what you're going to get into. But like myself, I started part-time, not thinking that this was a career, and I just learned about the company. So we have plenty of management trainees that start fresh out of college. So whether you graduate in December or you graduate in May, we start talking a few months in advance though. So we start interviews, say for December grads, we're starting interviews now. We're for May grads, we're starting in March. So, and a lot of those guys and girls don't have the internship experience. It is competitive. However, if you have a National Guard requirement to do over the summer, trust me, we completely understand that. So it wouldn't be something that would discredit you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have questions? Did I answer the, I guess, pay and benefits and requirements effectively for you guys before I dive into anything else? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am. I think you're good.
Okay, well, good. Usually that's a lot of info at one time. I just wanted to make sure that you guys got all of the basics of that down. So let's spend a little bit more time on this internship program, okay? So a part of that project that we talked about, I want to give you a little bit more info on that. So I know like in school, you know, at the beginning of the semester, you get a long list of what you guys are going to cover as a part of your syllabus. And at the end of the semester, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do all of these things that I forgot about that we talked about at the beginning. Well, like that, we're going to start off with the laundry list of things that are due at the end of the internship. So you get all of those things ahead of time. You know your due dates, you know what's expected, you know when you're supposed to report where. Now, we do place a little responsibility on you as far as what it is that you're willing to do as far as time management. So if you wait until the end, then that's something that obviously that's going to show in your work because you won't be prepared for your presentation. So one thing is just making sure that you look at it as a future career and not just a 8-week type of internship, because there's a lot of transferable skills. Like I mentioned, we review, presentation. Like I'll actually help you go through on what your nervous tics are, what your tendencies are, what are your filler words. So we have a lot of fun. So the biggest thing is coming in with an open mind to learn about yourself, most importantly, because this is a really big coaching type of role that I'm in. And secondly is learning your time management skills now. So when you do get in the workforce, when you have a due date, how to actually prepare for that, how much work it actually takes to prepare to complete your project, to actually have your presentation and have it bound for, a board of people that you've never met before. So it's a lot of things you probably haven't done before, but we like to throw you into that to see exactly what it is that you're going to be like as a management trainee and a future leader for the company. Does that sound like something that you guys are interested in being a part of?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I didn't expect you guys to be as interactive, by the way, Paige. You have a good group.
Good. Well, Lindsay, I was going to make you aware we have we have a little less, but we got 9 more minutes before we have to wrap up. And so, wanted to hit on any last questions or kind of a call to action of what you would recommend if this group is interested in applying.
That is exactly where I was going with
I figured
this.
you might be.
So thank you. Okay, so a couple of things for you guys. So again, the internship, if you're interested for next summer, we're actively taking applicants right now. So we're going to go ahead and start doing interviews. We'll likely extend some offers. And that also applies, like I mentioned, for the management training program. So going to hold this lovely card up. Can you guys see my card? I'm going to give you the info, but so here's my full name, Lindsay Cox, LINDSAY COX. And my email is my name, lindsay.a.cox, COX, at Sherwin, SHERWIN.com. And if you're interested in the internship and want more info about it, I will send you an email. We've got what are called a day in the life videos that I'll send you. And that gives you a much better perspective of exactly what it's going to be like as an intern. I have them for the management training program as well that I will send you. But we also have the direct link for you to apply, which is at Sherwin.com, www.sherwin.com/careers.